India in comparative perspective. Guys, this chapter has been taken from the book called An Uncertain Glory, chapter 3. This book was written by Dries and Sain. Now in this chapter, they have compared India with the poorest nations of the world within the Southeast Asia, where India is located. Then within BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and within India also. So their argument is that you should not depend too much on just the income growth. There are other areas of development also which you have to worry about. Okay, is India doing well in those social indicators? Is what their argument is, and they say that India is not doing that well. Okay, so the first point is that comparison with poorest countries in the world. Comparison with poorest countries in the world. See, their claim is that you should not depend too much on income growth, okay, on the statistics which are given by income growth only, because you cannot rely only on income growth to bring about changes in the quality of life of people, okay. And they say that India is not doing very well on the other social indicators. So they are saying that don't rely on income growth alone. Right? Because that income growth, it can't bring about changes in living conditions. See, they're not saying that income growth cannot bring about changes in income conditions. What they're saying is that income growth alone can't bring about changes in income conditions. Because you'll also have to look at some other statistics. So, for example, what India is doing on whatever your other social indicators. So they are saying that India is not at all doing well at all in many respects, right? Now, when you say that India is not doing well in many respects, that in terms of social indicators, they are not comparing with US, they're not comparing with the richest nations of the world, they're comparing it with the poorest nations of the world, right? They're comparing it with poorest nations of the world, and when you compare it with poorest nations of the world, and still you find that your country is not doing well on many of the social indicators, that is the point of concern, right? So they are saying this, that in comparison to or in fact in comparison with poorest countries of the world, right? In comparison with poorest countries of the world. Now, they developed their argument by saying that as far as human deprivation is concerned, now this is heavily concentrated in two areas. One is in Sub-Saharan Africa, right? Another is in South Asia, right? So these are the two regions of the world where human deprivation is heavily concentrated. So they're comparing this with these two regions, okay? And they find that if you exclude Sub-Saharan Africa, excluding Sub-Saharan Africa,